Merry late Christmas. I am Emmett, and this year I took it upon myself to make homemade Christmas gifts for each of my siblings. I also thought I'd record it so that I can share the process with you. The problem is, I can't release these videos until after Christmas. So Happy New Year. It's like the man said, Christmas. It makes way for spring.
Take it all down. Christmas is all.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you want to know the one thing that's wrong with that song? It's completely false! This is the real Ryan K song we should be singing.
It's always winter, but never Christmas.
In the bleak midwinter, my butt. It's the very beginning of winter. It's literally the 5th day of winter. That's practically fall. 'Twas the week before Christmas, and all throughout Kansas it was 70 degrees, gosh dang it.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know.
Okay, I've had my fun. I guess it could be worse. In Australia, the seasons are completely flipped.
So first up is my sister-in-law Sarah. For her, I made Beatrice from Over the Garden Wall. Now I know that Sarah likes Over the Garden Wall, but I don't actually know what she thinks of Beatrice as a character, but I like Over the Garden Wall and I think Beatrice is funny. So I'm just assuming that this works, because why wouldn't it? Plus, in a previous year, my brother Wyatt had made a clay diorama of all the Over the Garden Wall characters for my brother Tucker, who's married to Sarah, and he did make a Beatrice, but it was a tiny Beatrice to be scaled to everyone else, so I felt like making a full-sized clay Beatrice myself would be in the spirit of that gift without necessarily infringing on it. I made it out of foam clay, and the process is actually pretty simple, so I think I'll just let it speak for itself. I really need to figure out the best way of positioning the camera when I do these overhead shots, because if I move it too far forward or I have it too far upwards, all you see is the top of my head. You don't see what I'm working on. But then if I keep it far enough back that my head doesn't interfere, then it always ends up like just half being out of shot. I really need to figure out like the perfect way of setting up my camera, and I haven't quite figured that out yet. The best thing to do would probably just be force myself to have better posture. Like, don't hunch over everything and work on it like an inch from my face. I actually try to keep it at arm's length. I assume that's what most people have to do, because like whenever I see time-lapse videos where it's just the hands, I'm like, how far away are you holding that? Why can't I master that ability? It's good to have a bowl of water nearby when you're working with this clay because it softens the clay and helps the layers stick together. After you're done sculpting the clay, it is good to sand it down a little bit, just to clean up that surface, and usually there's like seams where you can tell kind of where you put the different layers of clay on. I don't usually worry about too much sanding, but it is good to do some. And there is Beatrice. How long has that little black smudge been on there? I'm not sure. So I think this turned out really well. I think I captured her sort of sassy look. The one thing that I could nitpick, though, is I'm trying to figure out why sometimes the paint cracks. This is an example where it's not that noticeable, so I'm not worried about it that much. But sometimes it's really bad. Most of the time, paint is just paint. It dries and it looks fine. Sometimes it'll get all these little veins of cracks going on, and I can't figure out what causes that.
And how about the high-tech crossword puzzle on your neck?
So it's just been a conundrum that I have to deal with. But yeah, there is that Christmas present. On to the next one.
In the bleak midwinter, my butt